So Google just went and flipped the switch on probably the biggest change to search we've seen in a decade. It's totally changing how we all find, well, anything online. The big idea was to give us this perfect instant answer machine. But what we actually got? Oh, it was chaos, some pretty wild comedy, and a really serious controversy. So let's break down what the heck happened.
It all kicked off when the internet just exploded with screenshots of Google's new AI feature giving out some, let's just call it, questionable advice. You've probably seen the most famous one, right? The suggestion that, and I quote, "Geologists say you should eat at least one small rock a day." No, this wasn't some joke website. This was right at the top of a Google search page. And believe me, that was just the tip of the iceberg. So, what really changed? Well, on the left, you've got the Google we all know and love, or at least the one we grew up with. A simple list of 10 blue links, you click one, you find your answer. But on the right, that's the new reality. This huge box, an AI overview, just sits there at the very top, giving you a summary before you even see a single website. And let me be clear, this is way more than just a little design update. It's a total rewiring of how Google even works. Okay, to really get why everything went so sideways, we have to look at what Google was trying to do in the first place. What was the grand vision? Well, they were trying to build the perfect, flawless, instant answer machine. Yeah, the motivation here is absolutely key. This wasn't just some random feature they cooked up. Nope, this was a direct shot at competitors like ChatGPT. You know, people were starting to ask AI for answers instead of Googling it, and Google was feeling the heat. So they decided to put their own AI right up front. The plan sounded simple enough. Give people a neat, tidy answer right on the search page. No clicking required. And man, did they move fast. What started as just an experiment in May of 2023 launched in the US only a year later. By the end of 2024, it was in over 100 countries, and today, it's in more than 200. I mean, they rolled this out to pretty much the entire world at a truly astonishing speed. So yeah, that was the promise. A smart, fast answer machine for everyone on Earth. The reality, though, well, it was a little different. Once millions of actual people started using it, the AI began to fail in some pretty spectacular and sometimes dangerous ways. And just like that, social media was an absolute flood of these bizarre examples. People were finding out that Google's AI would, with total confidence, tell you about the health benefits of running with scissors, or suggest, taking a bath with a toaster. The system was just scraping bits of information from all over the web with zero common sense. And then came the one that went absolutely viral. A user asked a simple question: how to get cheese to stick to their pizza. The AIOverviews' brilliant solution? Add non-toxic glue to the sauce. It turns out this tip was pulled from an 11-year-old joke comment on Reddit, but the AI, it treated it like a serious cooking technique. And the mistakes weren't just silly or dangerous. They got factually and politically messy, too. The AI flat out stated that the US had one Muslim president, Barack Obama, which is just false. This was a huge red flag. It showed the AI could become a machine for creating and spreading misinformation on a massive scale. And this right here, this image of the pizza answer, it really gets to the heart of the problem. Look at it. It looks so official, right? It's presented in this clean, authoritative box right at the top of Google. But the information itself is completely absurd. The AI literally can't tell the difference between a credible source and a joke on a decade-old forum, and it presents both as fact. So what did Google have to say for itself? With its AI telling people to eat rocks and cook with glue? Their official line was that these were just extremely rare queries and not what most people were seeing. But for a lot of us, that kind of missed the point, didn't it? Even if they're rare, the potential for real harm was obvious, and trust in Google's main product was taking a serious hit. But look, the fallout from these AI overviews goes way beyond just some funny or scary answers. It's creating what could be an extinction-level event for the very websites that built the internet we use every day. Some people are even calling it the Great Traffic Heist. This brings us to this huge economic problem that people are calling the Great Decoupling. Here's how it works. A website's article gets used by the AI to create a summary. So their impressions, how many times their content is shown, might actually go up. But, and this is the killer part, because the user gets their answer right there on the Google page, they have zero reason to actually click the link to visit the website.
So you get more visibility, but way less traffic. It's a paradox that's threatening the entire business model of the internet.
And the numbers, they're just staggering. One analysis found that when one of these AI overviews shows up, the click-through rate for the #1 result, the top blue link, it plummets by nearly 35%. That is a massive chunk of traffic that has just vanished.
You can really see the impact right here. It's undeniable. The data shows that when there's no AI overview, the click-through rate is way higher. The second that AI box appears, clicks to actual websites just fall off a cliff. The AI is basically intercepting the user before they can go anywhere else.
So as you can imagine, publishers are starting to fight back. Hard. Companies like Chegg and huge media groups like Penske, which owns Rolling Stone, have filed lawsuits against Google. Their argument is pretty simple, actually. They're saying Google is illegally scraping their copyrighted work to power this AI answer machine. And in the process, it's destroying their traffic and breaking antitrust laws.
So this all leads to a massive question. In a world where AI just summarizes everything for you, how do websites even survive? Well, it turns out the rules of the entire game have completely changed. The goal isn't just to rank #1 anymore. Now the goal is to get cited by the AI.
This right here is basically the new playbook for getting noticed by Google's AI. To have any hope of being cited, your content needs to have incredible depth. You have to cover every little subtopic. It needs to have a crystal clear structure. I'm talking headings, bullet points, things that make it super easy for a machine to read. And of course, things like authority and freshness are still crucial to prove you're a trustworthy source.
Because of this, content creators are now completely re-engineering their articles to be AI-friendly. This means you start with a short, direct answer right at the top. You structure the whole thing with headings that ask and answer specific questions. You use tables and lists that are easy for an AI to parse. And you even add an FAQ section at the end just to cover all your bases. It's a blueprint for how to write for a robot.
And hey, if you think this is the end game, you might want to buckle up. Google is already testing an experimental AI mode where the entire search results page is AI generated. That's right, no blue links at all, just AI. It really suggests that these AI overviews are just step one in a much, much bigger transformation.
And all of this brings us to one final, really big question. The internet was built on this idea of a decentralized web, full of pages made by millions of different people. But as one single AI model starts to summarize and synthesize all of that information into a single official-looking answer, it gets a scary amount of power. It all boils down to this. In this new AI-driven world, who or what gets to decide what's true?